true to know. In love and honesty, to grow and live in just and true. Great lofty heights attain to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. So thank you once again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm not seeing anybody reacting. I'm not seeing our reactions. I mean, we just finished the national anthem. There should be a reaction after that. Thank you very much. So next on our list, I want to tell us about the data analytics elite community. Okay, so we're a community of highly skilled data analysts who have gained mastery and expertise in the technical and leadership skill needed in data analytics industry. We are focused on mentoring aspiring data professionals who want to gain mastery in the data analytics tool, techniques, and technology. We believe in setting actionable learning goals, and we hold you accountable to encourage your learning goals are achieved. So that is who we are, and that is what we do, okay? And I want to introduce our facilitators and mentor to you. So special people on this call. First of all, I want to introduce the founder of Data Analytics Elite Community. This is Irevite, for bringing this beautiful program that we are all enjoying today. So she have, brought data analysts worldwide. She brought them together to give us this wonderful platform, which have been hard work. Believe me, it has been a heck of hard work. Okay. So Ma, we thank you very much and we appreciate you. Next, I want to introduce our wonderful special facilitator, Mr. Ebenezer Adebayi. Mr. Ebenezer have mentored this great cohort, this great SQL cohort, and he have done a great job in mentoring and facilitating our SQL Academy. And I also want to specially introduce our wonderful mentors, Mr. Chibuzo and Mr. Edwin. Mr. Chibudo and Mr. Edwin have helped in mentoring this great SQL Academy that we're seeing today. And they are the reason why we are here to celebrate you all. So the facilitator, the mentors, they are the reason why we are here today. And of course, the founder. So thank you very much for putting so much work and effort to this great community. Indeed, we can see your hard work by the beautiful projects your students have made. So next on our list, I want Mr. Ebenezer to give us a short speech about the students in general. Mr. Ebenezer? Mr. Ebenezer is not going to show up until you give him a round of applause, please. He's your facilitator, so I should see a lot of reaction for this. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Francesca, and good afternoon.
So, good afternoon.
It's a great day. Yeah. There we are. The journey actually seems like a joke. For the past 8 weeks, we have been going through SQL, sharing mind and rubbing mind together. I'm really glad that we are here today to celebrate the students, celebrate the knowledge they've acquired for the past 8 weeks. So I'm really proud, honestly. I'm proud of them. It says that even beyond expectation, they surpassed my imagination beyond expectation, honestly. And I really, really want to encourage them. Like I always say that learning SQL is easy, but mastering it is difficult. So the knowledge you have acquired here, you should put it into working on projects. By working on projects, that will showcase that you are skilled in SQL. Like SQL is a very valuable tools in data analysis and data science. So the best way for you to showcase your SQL skills, showcase the knowledge you require is to work on a project. And you can work on a project with those who are already into it. What I mean by those who are already into it, I mean those who are data analysts. You work with those people that are ahead of you. So by doing so, you're able to learn more on how to apply SQL, how to connect SQL with some visualization tools. So I congratulate the student once again, Olafemi, Victoria, Shali, Yemi, and so many others that were not able to make it here. And I also let me recognize my colleague Shibuzo. He has been very, very fantastic, be of help throughout these 8 weeks. So I really appreciate you, my very good brother. And to my own guy or G, I also celebrate you. Thank you for this wonderful platform. And my own baby girl, a very good friend, Fasiga, I see you as well. Thank you very much for the support for the past eight
Now,
weeks.
wow, some people are collecting baby girls, some people are collecting G. Hmm.
All the same. All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful speech. I mean, I collected baby girl. It's not easy, guys. It's not easy. Although you cheated us on this, we did not see your face. We did not see your face on this one. So please, can you just show us your face and just give us a cute smile, please, Mr. Ebenezer?
Okay, there we go.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Please, a round of applause again for this wonderful speech from our facilitator, Mr. Ebenezer. Thank you, guys. So the next cohort of SQL Academy is coming up on the 22nd of October 2023, okay? And the fee is 12,000 naira for intermediate level. So invite your friends, tell them that SQL is coming up on the 22nd. They should gather their money, they should get ready for SQL, 22nd October, and it's 12,000 naira. So invite your family and your friends. Mrs. Ray, are you on the line? Thank you. So
I
please
think I'm here.
introduce our wonderful guest speaker.
All right. So before we move on, can I make a request? I would like Chibuzo to say something about the SQL Academy students. Chibuzo.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Currently, where I am is not conducive, but I'll try and show my face for everybody to see. So
Yes.
it's really a great journey so far, and I want to thank everybody, thank the students, thank my colleague, Mr. Ebenezer, thanks the co-host Iremide, Francisca. I want to thank you guys for putting in the effort. And also, it's really, really important that as a data analyst, you need to have the knowledge of SQL because it will make your life more easier. So, and also for you to know how to maneuver your work and to analyze data properly. So, I want to say thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. So let me look for a better place to like show my face and just give me a minute.
Okay, sir, please do that because you still have a section where you really talk a lot about your students, okay? So I advise everybody that is not in a good position to please position yourself because we're having a good photograph and all your cameras will be on. So please position yourself very well. Those that want makeup, please go makeup now. Those that want to wear their Christmas clothes, please do that now, okay? Thank you.
Yes, yes, I have a meeting. I'm coming, sir. All right, so can you see me? So,
Oh, oh.
so yeah, and I look forward to see every other person too. Don't mind me, I'm just really occupied, and I think it was the call that woke me up, sha. And don't mind the background noise. My house is close to the viewing center, so that's why. For those of you that were in the last class of this section, you will notice that. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank
Awesome.
you so much. Well, you can take the floor.
Amazing, amazing. So today we're talking about an interesting topic that was debated. It was, but let's we deliberated about it in the group. About understanding ERD and data modeling in SQL. To know that we have this tool in Excel, we can do it in Excel. If you don't know, you can see me after this course. I'll show you. We can do it in Excel. It's a very powerful tool in Power BI, and it's also a very powerful tool in SQL because if you don't understand ERD or data modeling, there is no way you can define your schemas properly in SQL, right? And then we have one of the mentors for the SQL Academy. He is currently in the Obodo Imbos. So he is an amazing friend and he is a guest speaker for this event. Edwin Charlie is a data analyst and a data scientist with an excellent integration of machine learning algorithm, data structures, data compilation, statistics analysis, and data extraction. His career and educational accomplishments demonstrate an expertise in managing data programs, extracting and evaluating sophisticated data, and translating results into understandable terms to inform strategic business planning and facilitate improved operations. He has he has proven he has a proven ability to deal cautiously, tactfully, diplomatically with other employees and the general public while creatively and strategically managing expectation. He is the lead facilitator, data analyst at Gray and Forex as data analytics elite and at High Impact Careers. Ladies and gentlemen, can you welcome with me our distinguished guest speaker, Edwin Charlie?
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. This profile, please, can you convert it to money? Oh, this plenty profile, please convert it to money. Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, it's great to be here, and we thank God for the journey so far. It's not easy. I know a lot of people that started did not even finish with you guys. Some people were still there's some persons that I was still having mentorship one to one. I don't even know if they completed the program, but good and fine. It's not easy. It's not like you can't have everybody start a journey and complete it. It's not possible. Some persons, by the way, they have one or two reasons they have to drop by. I've never had. It's only once in my life I've had a course to complete a journey with a group of people, and that it was one exam. We just let my people go. That's what happened in that exam. Not that people didn't fail. They just said, okay, everybody go. So, but it's not. It's but SQL is it's one of the best tools as a data analyst. I would say, yeah, it's one of if you know how to use SQL, believe you me, others are not as difficult as you. So because you have to brainstorm, you have to troubleshoot, a lot of troubleshooting in SQL compared to Power BI and the rest. So the journey starts here and the career starts here. Yeah, I was actually supposed to be in another meeting, but I said no, I have to be in this. I've never attended any meeting in this class. I have another meeting somewhere. I said, no, I must be present for it. Even not for anything, this graduation, I must be present. I'm a lead facilitator for another program. But but I said I have to be here today, and I'm very honored to be here. Thank you guys for moderating the session, for impacting to these guys. It's not easy, seriously. It's not easy for somebody to give out time. From my own perspective, I've seen how people sacrifice a lot. So it's not easy. The money is not even it. It's not about the money. It's about the knowledge people get at the end of it, and how they can use it in the real life and the real sector to become competitive. So that's just basically it. Yeah. So she has already hyped me too much, but let me not hype myself because I have so many bosses here, like so many people I wish to learn from. The Obodo Ebo thing is just hype. There's nothing really special. It's just hype. We are still answering the same data analyst. There's nothing like they did not put data analyst in bracket Obodo Ebo. So data analyst is anywhere you find yourself, you can survive. So today I'll be running us through on entity relationship diagram and data modeling, but I'll be focusing more on ERD. Though due to time frame, I may not be able to go in depth into practical approach. But if you want more practical approach, I can for this for this data, I can engage you one-to-one session on ERD. Like I can create time out of my schedule and say, okay, let's take ERD on the practical level if you wish. But I will just go through it because of for presentation's sake and for clarity's sake, in case you come across it, because data engineers use it. As a data scientist, I've been able to cut across all the fields in the data sphere: data analyst, data engineer, solution architect, so many. Just name it, jack of all trade. I wanted to even do software engineering, but Iri stopped me. She stopped me, so I don't want to go again. So I'll stop there. I'll just stop at my machine learning.
What do you mean? I've not done
Let
anything
me show my
new.
face. No, she stopped me, so I wanted to do machine learning. So I wanted to do software engineering. She said, "Don't go, don't go." So I don't know. See my camera. Okay, I bought one. Somebody gave me one too. So this is me here. I'm in my house. I have to excuse myself from the other room because that one is a bit noisy. So I'll just do a brief presentation of what we are to expect today as data analysts and what we're to see in terms of ERD. So I have a slide which I prepared. Thank you, Francisca, for the moderation. She has been following up with the pictures. It was even a problem. It wasn't easy, but we thank God all the way. So I'll quickly share my slide to save us time because we have a lot today. So now the topic for please, can you all see my screen? If you can see my screen, just say hello on the background.
Bold and clear.
Yeah, good.
Right on, sir.
So yeah. So now the topic for today is understanding ERD and data modeling in SQL. But basically, I'll be focusing on ERD. Data modeling is still a part of the ERD. It's just how you run your data. And so the entity relationship diagram is the main thing that you need to know how to do. As a data analyst, you might come into an organization where you're asked to do this and you'll be like, I've never done it before, but that's not an excuse. So it's just a teaser for you to know what entity relationship model is all about. So let's do a brief introduction. You can see by my right, I have a picture, a man and his son looking at the diagram of a house. It's like a sketch. We've seen a lot of, we've done a lot of what they call it, scripting, writing, syntax, and all. So now you can see the man talking to his son. They are discussing about the house they're about to build. And right, you can see a prototype of the house they want to build. That's a model. So it shows you what this is all about, what the modeling is all about. Modeling gives you what a real face of what the actual product is supposed to be like. Having a prototype, that's what it means. You're having a prototype of what the real thing will look like. Like you want to build your house, you call in your architect, you call your engineers, the architect designs what you want, you do some corrections. So that's a modeling. If you don't have those models, you can't build the house. So that's the same thing with data and SQL modeling. So you have to do all of that. So what is entity relationship diagram? So every relationship model, or in the case of diagram, is a conceptual and visual representation or a prototype, like I said earlier, used in database design to describe the structure, just like in houses, and organization of data within a database system. So just imagine you are building a house. the same thing as a data analyst, you might be asked to, but it might not be your real function. But in the case whereby that company doesn't have a data engineer to do that or a backend person to do that, that's a plus for you. So you can come up with a design and say, oh, I can do this. But please, for the students, how many of us know how to use flowchart? If you know how to use flowchart, say hello. Flowchart. Anybody? For the graduating students, any of us that knows how to use flowchart? Has any of us come across flowchart before? Anybody? Okay, nobody. Fine. So it's also like also flowchart is like it's type of drafts you have to create. So now it helps in defining the relationships between entities or data objects, provide a blueprint. Yeah, see the word blueprint of how a data should be stored, organized, and accessed in a database. We've done columns, we've done rows. So now how do you store these rows? How do you store this column? How do you create a relationship? So data has a relationship like human beings. You have a relationship with this person, either mutual or whatever relationship you have. So it's the same thing with data. So let's go to the next slide. So let's talk about a bit of data modeling. So data modeling is a process of what designing or setting up a database. It can be described as a process of what connecting the dots. Yeah, I put this word connecting the dots because you are putting things together. You design a database, you've written the script, yeah, you've done everything, yeah. But how do you connect these things together? What's the relationship? What's the network between this column you've created? You've written a lot of syntax. Well, how do you know? How do you connect the dots? Oh, you've done this, it's beautiful, and you leave it that way. So in the future, how do this company store this database? How can somebody who is not a data personnel handle this? So that's where you can also have some clippings and some ideas to draw. So now we have a database comprised of three basic things. You have the entities, the attributes, and the entity relationship. Don't get confused. I'm going to explain all of that in bits, and I'll take my time to explain all of this so you get to understand better. So now these are the elements of an ER model. We have the entities, the attributes, the relationships, and the cardinality. So if you look at my right hand, the sketch here is one of my project I did, which was for an agricultural company. Yeah, so it was for an agricultural company, but it had to do with machine learning. But you can see how important this diagram is. It was used for machine learning, but I had to do this in ERD for them to be able to input it in machine learning for a company, an agricultural firm, to use this. So this is the model, this is the framework, this is how it looks like. Yes, we've done employee, we've done all of this employee ID to say it's in, to say, but now how do we put them in a database? That's where we come in with ERD. So we are seeing all of this diagram and the relationships and all. So there's an entity. What's an entity? What's an attribute? What are the relationships? What are the keys and what's the cardinality? So I'm going to explain all of this in a few minutes, but just keep your mind on this diagram that is here. So this is what an ERD looks like, an entity relationship model looks like. You can see the lines. The lines shows what the relationship, the connections. You can see this, there's a line between the employee information. The employee database houses all the information for both the employee information, the department, and the payroll. All of this now, you can see they are now linked into the employee database. So if I have an employee database, I can always have every information about my employee in the employee information. It depends on what I want to use it for. And so you can see some painted lines. If you look at the red line on the employee database, where you have after the database, you have employee information, employee. It means the employee information is being stored in the employee database. Anybody who doesn't have an experience about SQL can come up and put in a person's name and write in the person. Maybe they have a new employee, the HR has a new employee. You're teaching the HR, okay, I'm transferring the system to you. I've done this model. Take the system and use it for your company. So the HR only needs to write the name of the person, write the name of the gender or what have you, or all of this status, and it goes into the employee database. So it's an automated system that's already been created for the company. So let's look at the entity. What's an entity? An entity is a real-world object, a concept or thing that is distinct characteristics and attributes that can be stored in a database. So now think of a generic or a household name in a database or main heading. Mostly a noun. We can use an entity like in most cases in SQL, a noun. To my left, we have what? the empty house. This is a house. There's nothing in there. The house is, let's take the house as an entity. So now there's nothing in here. Let's use our employee table, for example. Our employee table is your entity where you have your employee. Inside the employee table, you put in your employee ID, the employee date of birth, the employee position, all of those details about the employee. The employee is what? The person, right? That's the employee is now the entity. So the employee is an entity. If you go back to the previous diagram, you look at this employee information. We have employee here, which you have ID, name, address. So this employee information can be referred to as what? The entity. And the data in there, we go to call it. Now, if you look at the data down there, we have employee name, employee address, employee contacts. So all of that are called what? Attributes. Now, if you look at this other house here, we have, the previous house, it was empty house, nothing in, just an entity. So when there's nothing in there, it's not complete, right? There's no data stored in, it's just employee information. So how do I put in information into this? That's where this house comes in. You can see the house is looking fine. There's staircase, there's wardrobe, there are food. So now we have employee entity, that's the employee information. We have the employee ID, the employee name, the employee address, the employee date of birth. That's using this house as an example. We have lighting. So now you're not pushing in things into that employee entity. So this we call it what? Attributes. So these are called attributes. All of these things that are being added into the employee information are called attributes. So attributes are properties or characteristics that describes what? An entity. So these things that beautify the house, they make the house look more beautiful, right? Because the house was empty, there's nothing in there. So now they make the house look more attractive. You can't just go into this house and say, well, I'm hungry, or there's no staircase, how do I go upstairs? So all of this now, without that, without the attributes, the entity doesn't really make a complete information. So the HR in this case can decide to input information, or the data personnel can decide to, whoever is running the database can decide to put all of this information. So now, for example, considering a customer as an entity, the customer has what? Attributes. So for example, now the customer, for example, let's use let me see one product. For example, let's use a Nigerian product. What is online? Jumia. So you want to buy something from Jumia. To Jumia, you have an ID. Jumia creates an ID for you. You put your address, you put your phone number. Those are what? Attributes. You are the customer. You're the entity. Sorry. The customer there, you are the entity. So Jumia have the customer ID, the customer name, the customer address, the customer email. So all of these are being kept and stored in Jumia's database. So these are done by the data personnel working for Jumia. So now you don't know you are doing all of this, but this information, I mean, sometimes you get emails from certain companies about discounts, about promo, because they have your information stored and they have a unique ID. That ID has your unique number to you. It's just unique to you. For example, my name is Edwin Charlie. So we can have two Edwins, but what makes us different is what? The customer ID. So nobody's having my customer ID. So if they are targeting me, I'm staying in, so let's say my street is number 27. So my street can be different from the other person's street, or my phone number can be different from the other person's phone number. So attributes are very important in your entities because they make your entity have a very defined meaning. So the next thing we are going to talk about is what? Relationship. Relationship. What's a relationship? Relationship can come in different sphere. Yeah. Different people have different relationship. Depends on what you define your relationship. But data has too, they have relationship. Not the normal human being relationship. But yeah, I use the human picture in this sense. Yeah, I use the human picture to describe the relationship. Please, are you guys following? If you are listening, just say hi. Hi, everybody. Hi, if you're listening. Yeah, good, good, good.
Hi.
Yeah, good. So now we have relationships. So what's a relationship? Human beings, yeah, we can say relationship is please can anybody give me a definition of relationship based on their understanding of what relationship is? Just your own understanding of what relationship is. Anybody? It can be human
It can
relationship,
be
it
human
can be any
relationship.
form
It
of
can be
relationship, any form of
anything
relationship.
connecting one or two things together. Yeah. Anything that
Yeah,
connects
yeah,
one or
that's
two
a
things
relationship.
together.
Yeah, thank you very much. He said it that anything connecting one or two people together. You can see the hand. The hand is connecting the husband, the wife, and the child. So there's a connection between the three of them. They might later start fighting and separate. Oh, I'm bigger than my father, I'm bigger than my mother, but they have that relationship as what? As family. Even if they've separated, they are still a family. So that relationship is still there as a family. So they'll still recognize them as family. Even if he says he wants to be a shim, or he wants to be a them, or they want to be he, or the guy wants to change to, the man wants to change to, there's still family in it. You are from a family. Everybody comes from a family. So data too has what? Family. Every data has a family they come from. They have a relationship. So every data has a relationship with one data or another. So like I said earlier on, the customer data that I was using for Jumia, for example. So it has a relationship with what? The product you are buying. Because you're a customer, you have a relationship with Jumia, and Jumia is offering what? A product. So there's a relationship between the customer, the company, and the product. So that's a relationship. Relationship exists. You might decide not to buy from them anymore, but you've had a relationship with what? With Jumia. For those people that used to serve breakfast, whether you serve breakfast or you were served before or you are serving breakfast, there was a what? Relationship. It means that what? There was an association by one way or the other. Even if you decide not to do business or have anything to do with that person, there was still a relationship. So let's put it in the data in terms of an entity relationship model. It's very, very critical, and this is where data analysts or data personnel or data engineers, let me use data engineers for example, because most of them they deal a lot with this as solution architects. But as a data personnel, this is where the problem comes in. Even when I was doing my master's, 90% of us in the class had a problem with identifying, understanding how to create this relationship, because you have to think it, you have to imagine it, you have to put it in the real world, you have to put it into the real sense and say, this is what this is. And you must get it right, because you have to think and think. It's a brainstorming part that if you miss it, you miss it out, and that's the end of it. And whoever you're going to deliver it to will not feel very happy, because they're not getting, they might not really know, but at the long run, you might just do it and give it to somebody, but somebody who is a professional will know. For example, if you do a relationship diagram and send it to me, I will know. When I sent my the work I did, I sent it to the company. They knew, and all of this was done from in phases, because I had to write it down in pen and paper before I started using I use my SQL to do that, not Postgres, but I use Postgres, my SQL, and SQL Server. That's the dynamics of being an SQL personnel. SQL is the only data analytics tool that have varieties. Others don't. And the funniest thing is the language are interrelated, just little changes. You have just Power BI and Tableau. You have Excel, which is Excel, Excel. You have Python, which is Python. That's it. But SQL, you have Oracle, you have SQL Server, you have Postgres, so you can migrate from one to another. It helps you. But the reason why I love my SQL compared to the others is because of the modeling. Yeah, I can model very well when it comes to my SQL, but you can decide to choose which one you want to. I think there are materials. If you want resources too, I can search for resources and provide them for you. So now let's look at the relationship. Relationship presents what? Association or connection between what? Entities in a database. Remember the word, the entity we went to, that's the noun. It provides a relationship between what? The customer, between what? The employee, and the employee database itself. So that's what the relationship does. It's an association between what? Entities. So they indicate how entities relate to each other and have cardinality. What's cardinality? Cardinality is the connection between those entities. So now, for example, let's take the picture, the human hands. So I said, let's take the example of human hands. That's the entity, human beings as entities. Then they have personal traits or characters, individuals, attributes. Then, but there exists a bond between them as a family. So that bond between them as a family is what keeps them as what? The relationship. So you human beings, we are the entities. Just take us as a customer, we are entities. Then our character, our personal traits, our attributes, like what's inside of us, what you can't, yes, what's inside, what makes you a human being is your character, your personality. So that's what your attributes. So I'm going to define you by your character, I'm going to define you by your personal traits, I'm going to define you by certain characteristics. I want to describe Irena, I have to describe her in a personal character based on how I know her. I want to describe Chibuzo. I'm going to describe him based on his character. That's his attribute. That's what makes him Chibuzo. As a person, I might not really know Chibuzo, but going back to his attributes, I have to know him better. So now the relationship makes you understand them better. So relationship means when you know somebody to creating a relationship with them, it means you know them deeper. That's more deeper. So that's what this relationship is all about. So as a data analyst, you have to know this. It's very, very important you do, but at the end, you might get yourself into a job where you might not do this, but in the long run, what if you get to do it? It's also a plus for you. It will help you in your career path, and you need to keep learning and learning and learning. Sometimes when you work in a company that has to, and you also help you in the case of practical interview questions, when you are being given a practical to do, sometimes try and beat the examiner by doing an ERD. When they see this, they are wow, like not just do the normal regular stuff. Yeah, you can go extra. They are not going to penalize you for going if you have time, but if you don't do it. If you have time, you can decide to do an ERD for them to see, to network what you've done. So it's going to be like, wow, this person is a perfect fit for a job. It makes you distinct from other persons who will just go straight and dive into SQL and give the output and all. So what unique features can you bring to our company? So they're always looking for that too. So my experience over the years has showed me all of this. So now let's look at the next thing, which is the types of relationship. The types of relationship in SQL. So now the types of relationship in SQL, there are 3 types of relationship in SQL. So just like we have the one-to-one relationship, the one-to-many relationship, the many-to-many relationship, and that's all. The one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many relationship. So you can see the ring there. The ring shows what relationship that's you are going to marry this one. So there's a marriage between them. There's a connection between them. So that's the essence of that ring. There's a bond between them. There's something that connects them. Even if they are going to divorce later, they've had a relationship. So these are the types of relationship that exist. Just like you have polygamy, monogamy, polyandry, and the rest. So it exists in data. So now let's come back to the different types. Let's look at them one after the other. So I'm using our relationship as human beings. So it gives us a perfect picture of what to visualize. So in a one-to-one relationship, the entity have just one common connection that brings them together. For example, this can be pictured in monogamy kind of marriage, where one man can marry only one wife. So in the case of one-to-one relationship, it means one man can marry one wife. So in data setting, how can I use this? In a database setting, now we can consider students and their what? And their university. Let's use students and their university. Now, so let's take somebody, for example. I'll take somebody, for example. 1 second, please. Are you seeing my screen? Hello, can you see my screen? Let's go back.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So now I'll take some. For example, I'm a student of the University of the West of England, Bristol. I'm a student of University of. So I have a particular student ID that is unique to me. Nobody has that ID. So that ID is between me and the what and the university. So it's me and my university. So that's a one-to-one relationship. It's between me and the university. So in that case, you can also have one-to-many because one student, many students, many just one university. So one-to-many too is possible. But in this case, now let's use customer and product. So one customer has one product. For example, in this case, now the one-to-one is very unique in a particular sense, just that it applies to only one particular product, unique product. For example, let's take petrol. Petrol is just petrol. My car is my car. I have a Toyota car, which is unique to me. Nobody has the type of my car. So now that car is mine. So if I'm going to buy fuel, I'm not going to buy any other thing. I'm not going to buy gas. I'm going to buy what? Just petrol for that particular car. So it's the relationship between of car to petrol. So let's take gas out of it. Yeah, you can take gas, but your car is designed to use fuel, so you can't use gas. So you don't have option of other commodities. You don't have option of choosing. You just have to use petrol. Just like the crisis we are facing in Nigeria, you can see what petrol has done. Now, just use Nigeria. Just jokingly, just use Nigeria and petrol. So you can see the relationship between Nigeria and petrol. Like we can't do without it. And even if you try to bring in alternative, it's not going to work because it's something that has been there over time, and it will take ages to divorce. You can't separate them. So that's the instance of husband and wife. They're being joined by the church or by the law, so they have to go through a process for you to disintegrate them. So that's that about the one-to-one relationship. So now let's look at the one-to-many. And also take note of the sign. You can look at the sign. So we have a straight line, which is one line here connecting the husband, and the other line. Then there's a vertical line and horizontal line. Just take note. You can see how the lines are. So that's the unique thing you have to take note of, that particular line. So we are going further to other relationships. You're going to see the difference. So now let's look at the one-to-many relationship. It is the direct opposite of what? One-to-one relationship. One entity can have many relationship with other entities. Yeah, you can have as many relationship. So now, one man can marry many wives, right? A very good example. So just a mother and a children. Let's use mother and children for example. One man can marry. So a woman has many children, right? So the children, they are just linked to the mother, just like the man and the wives. Now let's come to polygamy in this case. So it's a case of polygamy, one man to many wives. So now in the data analytics setting, how do I put this? Now, a publisher of a company, of a book, a writer of a book, let's use a writer. A writer of a book can write how many books? Many books, right? He can write many books. So one writer to many books. But so you can see relate the books back to the writer, right? So one writer can have what? Many books. So it's possible. So that's a one-to-many relationship. So in the case of identifying, for example, in the UK here, they have a library whereby if you write a book, that book goes into your account. That's your name. It goes into your account. So what they use to track the writer is the ISBN number. If you see some books, they have the ISBN number. So the writer must have had so many books, but what they use to identify those books is just the ISBN number. So one writer can write as many books as possible. So that's the one-to-many relationship. So the many-to-many relationship, this is a very rare occasion, and most times it's most times avoided because it's conflicting and it can give lots and so many problems. But sometimes they try to streamline it. But many-to-many, here we have interrelated connection. One item can be used multiple times by multiple users. For example, different buyers can buy different laptops. For example, I'm using HP. You are using laptop as a case, not using the brand. Let's use laptop as a case. I'm buying laptop, you are buying laptop, that person is buying laptop. So now what will now make us distinct is what? The brand. But everything is called laptop. So many people can buy so many laptops at the same time from one shop or different shops. So you have varieties of options. So when you have more options, so that's many-to-many. But in most cases, it's avoided. So that's why they come in with the brand to say, okay, I'm using HP to make it more distinct. So it's going to be one HP to many buyers. So that's why they try to streamline it to one-to-many relationship. Because if you give a non-data professional to operate a system like this, it's going to conflict the system. At the end of it, the outputs might be very poor. So now these are the relationships that exist between the many-to-many relationship. So there'll be time for questions as we go further. Please, if you have questions, please just write them down. So I'll soon be done in a few minutes. So another thing we're going to discuss now are the keys. So I know we must have come across key maybe one or two ways in the class. So keys are very important in SQL, irrespective of which platform you're using. So the keys are very, 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 very important. You have to know what type of key and why you're using that particular type of key. If you look at the diagram I did, let's go back to that diagram. Yeah. If I had no keys, I wouldn't have been able to do all of this. The keys are very, very important. You can see there's a color. This one is red and this one is yellow. Later, the yellow one is for the primary key, while the red one is for the foreign key. But you can't see all of this except I open the real database for you. So now let's go back to the key. So what's the primary key? Please, can anybody come across primary key before? Any of our students, please? Any of our graduating students who have come across primary key? Anywhere, if you've learned it somewhere, or you've come across it, or you've heard it somewhere, any student, let me know, ask the professionals, because the professionals, they know it. but the students need to know it. Our daddies and mommies already know it, so the students need to know it, because basically this class is to help you, upskill you, and prepare you for the journey ahead, because you're supposed to be flying, like flying. All those jobs they are posting. Even me, I'm applying. I saw one job, 800,000. I applied. Oh. I was shouting, see money. Everybody's looking for money. So please, anybody, has anybody come across the primary key? Anybody, any of our graduating students? Anybody?
Graduating student, this is for you. You're graduating today.
Anybody?
Come on.
Because after now, from Monday, you start getting congratulations. You have an interview. You have an interview. That's, in fact, I guess some of you will have been going for interviews, because for me, I don't believe I have to graduate before I even start applying for a job. I've been doing it even when I was in Nigeria. I was looking for a job before I finished school. So it's applicable here. So we should be flying and be looking for, if to advance our next career path. There are so many jobs out there. Try and apply. The data analyst, I was thinking maybe in Nigeria is going to be not too, but now it's so out in Nigeria. Like there are so many companies looking for data analysts. I wish I could even do remotes from here so that I can be sleeping in my house and earn it. So now let's continue. Okay, since no, I'll just assume nobody has. So now what's a primary key? A primary key is a unique identifier for each instance. That's a record. So every it's not compulsory every entity. Remember, the entity is the main box, the main name. It's not compulsory every entity has a primary key. It depends on what you want to deliver on the particular project. I've done a project where there was no primary key and there was no relationship with a particular data. It has to do with a movie and customer. So there was something that has to do with, I can't remember. If I can get that data, maybe I'll share it somehow. But that relationship did not exist. So there is a thin line between. So sometimes it depends on what you're about to deliver. So don't force yourself to do a primary key. What's a primary key? Like I said in the Jumia product, Jumia has a customer database. My name is Edwin. I have a unique, so anything I buy from Jumia goes into my customer database. So I have a unique ID in Jumia database that is unique to only me. Nobody has it. You can have the same name with me, but you cannot have the same primary key, unique ID with me. So that primary key is the customer ID. In most cases, ID is your primary key. In most cases, but sometimes it may not be the same, and sometimes you may have to choose. For example, maybe in a company, they might decide not to use the employer ID. They might decide to use the department ID. So in that case, you might decide to choose to make it more distinct, because if you say let's use the customer ID, so the department ID can make it more different. So, but it depends on what the company wants and how you're able to lay the message to the employer, which one best suits their company based on, because where I was working in Nigeria, we had about 2 employees can have the same ID, but in their department they can have different ID. So it's possible that they have different ID. So the department was a very unique way to identify employees. You can have the same name, but we're in different departments. So the primary key is a unique identifier for each instance. It ensures that no two instances of same entity can have the same value. Can you see it? They cannot have the same value. They have to be unique. Like you can't. So it's labeled as PK. PK is short, just primary key. So employee ID, like I said, might serve as primary key. Some people might use department ID. So just to make it distinct. So employee ID can serve as a primary key. So it depends on the design team, and a lot of this work has to do with collaboration. As a data analyst, you have to learn how to collaborate. Don't work alone. Even if you are the only data analyst in that company, learn to work with that department that is bringing in that data, that is bringing in that information. Try to know what they want, because if you say, oh, I'm data analyst, I'm sitting on top of it, when you make the decision and you give it back to them, they will give it back to you, because they don't understand what you've done. They've not been with you, they've not collaborated with you. So as a data analyst, you must learn your soft skill should be collaboration. So you must learn to collaborate. It's very, very important in this field, because even if you are just the only person employed to solve a problem in the company, try to pretend as if you don't know. And let them, because they have to. For example, if I'm working, if I'm working in a medical situation, I don't know the medical terms, but I'm a data analyst. I know the data analyst jargons, but I don't know their medical jargons. I have to sit with the medical professionals to understand their language, to understand what they really want me to do in that particular data. So that way it makes it easier, and it makes me feel welcome and feel, oh, I know it all. And the data person, no, you have to learn from everything. So as a data analyst, you are dynamic. You can work anywhere. It's just to learn the language. So now let's go down to the next one, which is the foreign key. So what's a foreign key? So a foreign key is an attribute or entity in one entity that establishes a link to the primary key of another entity. So now we have, let's take for example, we have Jumia, we have what? Products, and we have customer, right? So we want to create a relationship between them. So we have customer ID and we have what? Product ID. So every product in Jumia has an ID, because if you want to return or you want to complain about a product, they have an ID they can use to track that particular product. So if the product is now connecting, making a relationship between the product and the what they call it, the product and the customer ID, when they're making a relationship, the key that comes out to form that relationship is called what? A foreign key. For example, I'm creating a relationship with, yeah, relationship between customer and product. Yeah, I'll use that example. So we have both IDs. We have primary key, which is the primary key for products. We have product ID. We have the customer ID, which is the primary key for customer, which is customer ID. So when you want to create a relationship between them, the key that comes out of that relationship is called what? A foreign key, right? A foreign key will come out from, let's say you're taking a relationship from the product to the customer. So it's going to show you, let me show you this for this example so you can see what I'm talking about. So if you can see here now, employee information. So I'm creating a relationship between this employee information and this employee database. So employee information is not going to appear in the database as a primary key anymore. It's going to appear there as a foreign key, because this has an ID. This is taking a data from one entity and bringing it into another entity. So if it's going to another entity, it's going to be a foreign key. The same thing with the department. The department has a primary key, which is department ID. So when it goes into the database, you can see department or department ID, the second row. That's the second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the fourth row. So it's going to be a foreign key. So the colors are always distinct for my SQL, but I haven't tried that in Postgres, but in the future I'll try it. But it won't be something technical, but something we can do. So now these are the entities. Can you see these are the attributes? All of these: employee name, employee contact number. These are attributes. These are attributes. This is the entity. Department is the entity. Payroll is the entity. Employee database. So these are the attributes. Then the cardinality. This is the cardinality. This is cardinality. It shows the relationship between the two entities and all the entities rather. So now let's go for that to see, do you have any other thing else to present here? This is key. So I guess that's all about that. So if you have any question, please ask me. Any question, guys? Any question?
Thank
Any
you very
question?
much, sir. Thank you
Okay.
so
Yeah,
much.
thank
Thank
you.
you. Guys, can I have a round of applause, please? Thank you. So, any question? You
Any
have 10
question,
minutes
please?
for
Any question?
question.
If you have any question, just
Please,
ask
if you
me.
have a question, just raise up your hand. Come on, no question. Ma, you will speak last. Wait.
Any
Our
question?
graduating
Any
students, you
question?
don't have any questions.
Please ask questions. Please ask questions. Today is your
No
day. Ask
question.
questions.
Today's your day. Oh. Bombard us with your questions, please. We want it.
Ask questions, please.
When
Ask
when you can
questions,
ask your
please.
question, the absence of none.
Ask questions, please. Ask questions.
You have not muted. You can ask your question, man.
Hi, Shani. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. Using a house and a building. Sincerely, like there's no better explanation for ERD than the way you've done. However, I don't have a question, but then it's just like I just want to plead with you if you can show us, even if just two tables, how to create it,
Okay.
right? So I
Yeah.
know they are different. So what platform will you be using? Will you be using MySQL or
Yeah, yeah. I can use SQL in a minute. My
yeah? If it
SQL.
can just be two tables, one fact table, one dimension table. Let's have the let's say the plugin. I think people are trying to think in their head like how will this play out in real life. So if you
Okay.
can just like the next 15 minutes, let's just have it. Maybe then the questions can now start flowing in.
Okay.
Okay.
So let me run it on my system. One second. My SQL workbench. So I use my SQL workbench to create it. So file, so let's share my screen. Share screen. One second. I'm coming. Sorry, guys. So let me share my screen. Chrome tab. No. Share screen. No. 1 second. It's giving me headache. My SQL. Sorry, guys. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to.
Okay, guys. So as he's doing that, please let's get ready. Then after the questions, then our group photograph. Okay.
Okay. So. mm, why is it not coming up? I'm coming. My SQL. Okay. Workbench. Okay. I'm coming. Oh. Sorry, guys. Okay. Yeah. So I'm sharing my screen now. So this is my SQL workbench. Please, can we all see this?
Very
Yes.
clear.
Yeah. So this is my SQL workbench. This is where I used to create my model. So you can push it. It's the same thing as writing your syntax, but this is more of like creating a schema. Then after creating this schema, I can do a forward engineer. I'll forward it to I'll connect it to it's online database. When I connect it to my online database, so to just pop out the code for me, I don't need to write a code for it to show the relationship. But although you can write it out in Postgres and write all of your relationship in there, but it's much easier for us using schema because it's much like a dummy. If you are doing a project for a company, so they get to see how the schema is being done. So that's the essence of doing schema. But you can write a script, write SQL script about it. But and also after I finish this, I can still do a forward engineer. It will still come out as an SQL script. So what I do, the first thing I do is to add diagram. So I click on add diagram. So this is the diagram. So last we when I was doing those relationships, as you can see, the one-to-one, you can see one-to-one, one-to-many. This one-to-n means one-to-many. N to m means many-to-many. Can we see it? These are the relationships. N to m, many-to-many, one-to-n, one-to-many, one-to-one. So these are the relationships. I believe you can see it by the left hand side. I'm using the cursor to point them out. So the first thing I have to do is to create a new table. Where's my new table? Okay, so now this is the table. So I'll drag it. 1 second. Come on. My mouse is giving me headache. So let's see. Okay, let's okay, file. Okay, let's try new model. Don't save. Sorry, let's try again. So add table, add diagram, define routine. Okay. Should I add table? Add table. I prefer to use the diagram. Yeah. So I'm supposed to be able to new table is supposed to pop out, but I don't know what's going on. Control T. Sorry guys. Oh. I'm having headache here. Sorry. 1 second. One second, guys. Sorry. Okay, yeah, the table is out. Finally. I think my mouse is the problem. So now I dragged it.
Hello, sir. I think your screen just stopped sharing. Mr. Edwin, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Anyone else hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Francisca.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I
Yes.
think we lost Mr. Edwin. He's going to join back. Sorry about that. Yes, please. You can talk. Mr. Chibuzo. Chibuzo, you raised your hand up.
Okay, so I want to ask Edwin if in creation of the EROD, can we also use other third-party tool to create an EROD if we are finding it difficult to use the database tool itself? So can we also use a third-party tool to create that?
Okay.
While we are waiting for Edwin, can I answer that? Yes, there are other third-party tools you can use. Like for me now, I use Draw SQL for my ERD. Draw. Let me see if I can share my screen.
The graduating students, please take notes. I'm speaking on behalf of every one of us.
Okay, I guess my screen is up. Okay, so this is what I use. Let me see. I use Draw SQL. Let me sign up. Let's a minute. So this is how you go about it. It's called Draw SQL. When you click on Draw SQL, let me start again. Just do Draw SQL. Then this is it, Draw SQL database schema diagram. You can click on this, click on so like you explained. This is how you create it. Then just click on get started. Then you can log in, put in your name, then your email. I hope I'm still on the call.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, then you can put in a password. Then you sign up. That's if you don't want to use MySQL or Postgres. What's my team name? DALite, as always. So I can create team. Like I said, you'll not be working on isolation. You'll be working with a design team, and then you can share with your team members. So just click on new diagram. So this is how the interface looks like. I think there are other, I don't know if I can, there are other tools that you can use aside draw SQL. So I'll click on new diagram. What's my diagram name? Let's say SQL Academy, or let me just call it test. Right? So it's asking you what kind of database schema do you want to use. Is it MySQL, Postgres, SQL Server? So you can choose whichever one, so that whatever it is you are drawing will be in relation to how that SQL application works. Do you understand? Because there's a slight difference between SQL Server, MySQL, and Postgres SQL. Right? So I can use MySQL. You can use Postgres. Then let's do create diagram. Okay, so it's creating a diagram for us. All right, so this is it. Then we can now bring in new table. So let's say this is our customer table. Then you just rename it customer table. Right? Once you have this as customer table, it's asking for ID. Please, is Charlie back?
Not yet.
Okay, so we can
Just
have customer table. Let's have another table. Let's say product table. Right? And then we can have another table. Let's call it sales table. So these are entities. The one I'm calling tables are actually called entities. Right? So these are entity. So in our customer entity table, we have the ID. Right? So what else can we see here? Customer name, right? Customer name. Then you can decide whether this is a big int, whether it accepts, and also you can define the constraint. Does it take a null value? Right? Is it a primary key? Is it a unique key? Is it an index? You can define the constraint here. And also you can also define the data type, right? So this is varchar, right? So we can add another column. Let's say customer phone number. So you can call this phone number. Initially, you see that the ID here was defined for us, like we didn't have to define it. So it's identified that this is the primary key, and then it does like you see the key icon on it, right? And also it's auto incremental. Do you understand? And then you can decide whether it takes in the null value or not. But if it's taking in the null value, definitely that can be your primary key, right? Your primary key cannot take in null value, so they have to have a value. So we have phone number. We mostly put phone number as varchar. Then let's go to the product table. The ID is also created here. We can make this let's say product ID. Can you guys see me? Now, do you know how this works? Then you can now have the colon, let's say product name, right? Product name of a voucher. Yeah, so let's add let's say product category. Are you guys with me? Am I still on the call?
Yes, perfectly. Please go on.
Okay. All right, then we can come to the sales table, and then here, please can someone tell me what we can define in the sales table based on what we've done so far?
SQL graduates, are you actually here? Are you on this call?
Here you can call names, so
Okay, we can see quantity.
Why you all
We can
quiet?
do what?
Why you all
Quantity.
quiet? Why you hiding?
We can include
Yeah,
dates.
we can have.
We can have date on sales table.
Unit price.
Okay, I'm hearing a lot of voices. Can you guys put it in the comment section? And let Francisca read it out.
We can have a date column. Date column.
Okay. We can have a date, other date. Please, can you mute? Yeah. So when we're having our other date here, we can have the created date, the day the customer was created. Please, is Charlie back? Then we can
He's
change
not
that to
back
be a
yet.
date or date time, right? So yeah, we can have other dates. We make it date. Then we can add another colon here and say, let's say customer ID, right? This is int. Add another colon. Let's call this product ID, big int 2. Instead of big int, we can just make it int actually. Int. It doesn't have to be big int. So you define your data type. So this just will let your management know how the schema will look like by the time they want to like publish into the data. Be like, this is how it's going to look like. This is how the modeling is also going to look like. So let me round up this very quickly because my laptop is going off. So let's do this as quantity, right? So now we can now create a release. So customer here, this is the primary key, right? And then by the time the primary key is coming here, it becomes what in the sales table is a foreign, right? Well, let me say customer ID is int. Why is this big int? Okay, hold on. This is the customer ID is int. Here it should be int. I'm saying big int. Okay. And then if we look at our product table, the product ID here, by the time it's coming here, why is it creating one-to-one relationship? Okay, let me leave this as ID and let me create another one that says product underscore ID int customer table. So this is how you do your entity ERD. Let's call this customer ID integer. So let me delete this one. Okay, this is the integer here. Oh, this is the integer I dragged. Very wrong. So we are taking this customer ID to our customer ID here. Okay, secret. I think something is wrong here. Something is wrong with our diagram. But basically, this is hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I
Okay,
can hear
you have
you.
your hand raised.
Yes.
Okay, Paul, you can speak, please.
So I think the reason why we're having one-to-one relationship is because maybe it's only one value that we have across the table.
Mm, it's, no, that shouldn't, because this like tells us the schema, like this how the information will be in our data. So our customer table is taking only unique values of our customers, product table is taking the unique values of our products, and the sales table is taking everything. Do you understand? So every
Yes.
order that each customer has purchased,
But
the
how many
customer,
rows?
the
How
product that
many
was
rows do we
bought,
have in
the
it?
quantity, everything will be in the sales table. Okay, right
Yeah, I
now
understood.
there's no value in any of this data. It's only telling you like the column names. Do you understand? Telling you the kind of information that will be passed into it by the time we get to our database. And then we are also defining the schema, saying that this is an ID, it takes in an int, customer name takes in voucher, phone number voucher, created date is date. Like this is the data type of each of the entities in the customer table or each of the fields. Do you understand? So this is what I actually use Draw SQL. There are also other platform. We can Google them. Platform to design an ERD diagram. I'm sure we'll have quite a number of them. Okay, yes, I think I know of Draw.io too. Let me check this website.
Yes, Draw.io.
Please hold on. Yeah, I know of Draw.io. I know of Jiffy. I've heard of Jiffy too, but I've not tried any of them. The one I've tried is Draw SQL. Okay, this is
Okay, Paul,
also
your
taking
hand
too
is still
long
up.
to load. Let's see. Okay, is Charlie back?
No, not here. Paul, your hand is still up.
Okay, Paul, your hand is raised.
No, that's a mistake. That's a mistake.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. But I've also looked online. There are also here that people have drawn online. I don't know why my network is. Why is it taking so long? Why is it dragging? And then you can now define. I think I was trying to define my schema here, like one to many, many to one, one to one, and the likes. But then it's not giving me the results that I'm looking out for. I think there's an issue here. But this is a very like straight to the point to, once you are done, you can save it and then you can share with your team members and then they will have access to this, and then they can add to it. You can either give them viewers access or editors access. They can also create other tables, delete depending on the kind of access that you give to them. So let's see top 7 entity relationship online too. Yeah, we have
Okay.
this
Okay.
Vetabello. Is it back?
Yes, Charlie is back.
We have Lucy Chat. Have I heard of? We have Visual Pyramid online. We have Draw.io. Yeah, Draw.io is also a very popular too. We have Microsoft VCO. For those of you that are Microsoft fan or your organization use a lot of Microsoft too, so you might also explore this Microsoft. You have Jiffy too. I've heard a lot of people use Jiffy, but I've not tried it before. We have the SQL DBERB online too. So that's like the 7. Oh wow. So Draw SQL is not part of the top 7. But Draw SQL is also a very good one. Charlie, please over to you.
Yes, there's one chat you what's that? There's one chat you talked about. I've used that one before. Oh god, I forgot it. There's one you're talking about. I used that to do dummy data. I can't remember that. I'll try and find the name later. Okay, so yeah, over to me. Sorry guys, I didn't know my system the battery was down, and I left my charger at work, so there's no way I could get it. But I have another backup, so I'll be able to get another system. So I'll open the workbench now in a minute. So let me share my screen. Window, yeah. So this is the workbench. So I click on File, New Model. So I want to create a new model. New model. So I have different options. So what I do is I want to create a table. That's the entity. I want to create the entity. Let's use the right word, entity. So I'll come to Add Table. We'll click on Add Table. Double click. So Now, this is the entity. The table name becomes the entity. So I'll give it a table name. So I want to use the scenario of customer. So I'll call it customer. I'll use customer. Let's use Jumia example. So Jumia has you're generating a customer database for customer and products for Jumia. So they have to relate this customer to that particular product. So now we're going to have the first attribute, which is going to be the customer ID, the unique identifier, customer ID. The ID is unique to me. So if anybody check that particular ID, they're going to see just my name. So customer ID is integer already, it's data type, the data type is there. So now we have PK. I said PK is what? Primary key. Don't worry about these ones. These ones are not really important. I don't really think I even bothered about them. So the basic things here, okay, unique, you can use unique, but the basic thing here is just the primary key. So now it means when the NL means not null, that means your data must, the not null you're seeing in all of your scripting is still here. This is NL, not null. So now my primary key. So I want my primary key. So this is unsigned, this is zero field, unique. You can still make it unique if you want to. The binary, there's no need, it's not binary. So I have, but don't worry with all of those unique or the binary. But if you want to make it unique, you can make it unique. If you click on unique, it's going to be unique. But then let's leave it at this. So now the next one, customer name. So I need to know the name of the customer in case I want to give the customer reward or award. Customer underscore name. So it's already stated voucher. Can you see? So automatically it gives this to me, but you have to indicate it when you're doing this. But mind you, why this one is much easier is that after I finish all of these things, I'll have to host it on the web. I'll do a forward engineer. I'll host it on the web. So when I do a forward engineer, I'll host it on the web. It will create the database for me. Like the way you write your SQL using a script. I can write this in a script, but it takes time. But doing this on my table makes it more easier because I'm going to get a dummy data, a model, and I'm going to get my scripts together. So anybody can take the script and see what I've done. So now, customer name, no primary key, not null. Yeah, you know, not null means it has to be filled. Then customer address, you have to fill a name. Customer address is going to come out voucher for me. Customer address, ADDRESS, and what again? Customer address. Let's just take those three for now. So now this is for the customer, right? So I'm going to add another table, which is going to be, yeah, let's double click another table, which is going to be products. This is products. So here I have product ID because every product has a unique ID in case they want to do a promo or they want to return or they want to refund or they want to do a correction. So the product ID is unique to that particular product. So I click it's a primary key. My ID is my primary key. So now the product name, because the product needs to have a name. Product name. Then product number. And also the product number, something you can also use to identify its product number. So this one I can change it to int. I can change it myself. There's a drop down arrow here. So you can choose whatever data type you want. So now I can change it to int because it's a number. You can even put product dates and you put your, so this is int. So that's all right. You can put dates, then you can set, let's put dates. Product dates, products. Go dates. So product dates, I can put date time or just dates. Yeah, date is okay. So now I have this. So I've created two entities. So these are the attributes. The product ID is the attribute. The product name is attribute. The product number. These are the attributes of what the product, right? So the entity is the product. The entity is the customer. So now let's look at how we're going to create a relationship. So I'll click on add diagram. So the diagram. So when I have this here, I have my tables to my right. So when I click drop it down, this is my look at my data I've already created. They're already here, my customer and my product. So I'll drag the customer, drop it here, and I drag the product and I'll drop it here. But let's interswitch. So it has to be customer before product. So now let's come to relationship. I want to create a relationship between customer and product. So Now, ideally, now I'm thinking of what relationship exists between customer and product. So one customer can order what? Many products, right? But many products cannot be ordered by one customer. So one customer can order one product, that's a one-to-one relationship, right? And one customer can still order many products, that's what one-to-many relationship. So that's how it works. You have to think of the relationship. You have to think of how ideally, for example, now I want to buy something from Amazon. Me personally, I want to buy a phone from Amazon. I can buy just one phone from Amazon, or I can buy a phone, a laptop, or some other gadgets from laptop. That's just me as a person. So one customer and buy one product from Amazon. So I'm going to have a one to many relationship. So you see how we create a relationship. And like I said earlier, look at the relationship. That is what I was doing before the laptop ran away. So one to n, look at the relationship. When I one to n means many. N in this case means many. So one to n. So one to one means so when you do one to many, it's going to create two relationships for you: the one to one relationship and the one to many relationship. That's what it does for the one to many. So this is one to one relationship. These faint lines means there's no relationship. This is many to many. This is many to many. There is many to many. But it's quite confusing because if you do it, but it's fine. But you can do it for car and petrol. Yeah. So now there's one to many, and there's one to one, there's one to many, there's many to many. Oh, sorry, student and university. So now let's look at the relationship. So now we've established that this is a one-to-one relationship. So what do? I click on this. I click on the product where I want to create a relationship from. This product with what? With the customer. So I click on this. Sorry, Control Z. Click on this, right? Click on it. Click on the relationship, and click on this. Let's go. Come on. One, too many. So as you can see, the relationship has been created. So I have to click on this one, the particular cell I want, then click on the relationship, then link it to the other one. So we can see the first dots. Let's look. There are two dots here. The first line shows there's a one-to-one relationship. Now, if you look at the data, how do we know? I said something about foreign key. Foreign key is what? An entity that creates the attribute that has been created in another entity. So our customer ID now, they want to identify me to know I bought this particular product from Amazon. So my details will now enter into that product line. So they will know I'm the person that's how they know who ordered this product. It's very easy to detect. So now you can see now when I did the relationship, the one to many, the customer ID now went into the product ID. So whoever is looking for, maybe wants to give discounts, or I complain about a fault, they can know the particular product because the product has an ID, the product has a date, and the customer that purchased that particular product, his details enters into their system. When you buy it, like when you just click and you send your card and you order, that's what happens. The back end, that's what goes on. So it just registers into their database and it says, oh, is this person that bought this? That's how they even send it to your address because they have your address, all of the information has been stored, they know your name, so all of these things. So we have, look at the relationship. The first one shows the one dot here goes to another one dot here. That's one to one. So the second dot shows one to many. So that's the relationship that exists between them. So there's a primary key. So the foreign key now is what? The product customer. FK means foreign key. Why is it a foreign key? Foreign key because now the customer data has gotten into the primary data. So there's a mix between the product data. So it becomes, so when the customer data comes into the product data, it becomes a foreign key. So just like you now, Nigeria, you're traveling to UK, you're a foreigner. So just like customer running to products, it becomes a foreigner, just using that setting. So if you're going into a new database or you're going into an entity, you become a foreigner. Automatically you register as a foreigner, so for easy identification. This is one simple one. So I've been able to establish the one-to-one and the one-to-many. The many-to-many, it's very technical. Let's see if I can try the many-to-many. Let me see what I can use for the many-to-many. Cars and petrol. But it doesn't matter. Like I said, if you do it, they will know that you manipulated it. But as a data analyst, I will know that this person did something wrong because I have to be analytical in my thinking. what are the relationship between this and this one? How is it one to one? How is it many to many? The company may not know, but you will know. As a data person, you know, oh, this thing is doesn't make sense. Like I was able to relate the customer and the product. So now, in terms of when you're not even explaining to, you're delivering your presentation, maybe to a team, so they'll even ask you questions like, how did you do this? Why is it this? So you have to explain to them in layman terms, just like I was using house, using Jumia, using this, and using all of that. So the many to many is mostly not advisable to use, but always streamline it to one to many. In most cases, don't use many to many because it's a complicated relationship. Yeah, it's just for when you have multiple things. Like you have one, but we can do it anyway. We can do it if you want to. Well, I guess like, yeah, many to many can work this way. So if I want to do the many to many, I can decide to do videos. Yeah. So you can also see the many to many. So all relationships. So video ID, video ID. So let's leave it at video first. Then I'll save this one. Yeah, go. It's the primary key. Yeah. So let's do videos.
So I don't know if you can start rounding up. It's time.
Okay. All right, so let's just leave it at this one. So in case you want more classes or you want to learn how to do this, you can always send me a message. I'll create time to teach you more on how to use the relationship.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Let me stop
Thank you,
sharing.
sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So next on the list, so time for our group photograph, guys. Time for the group photograph. Who be our camera? Man, oh man. Please on your videos. Time for the group photograph. Is that snappy? Let's be snappy. Thank you. Graduates, so we're waiting. Is it on this call? Can you just wave? Thank you, sir. I see you, sir. Okay. Please, can we be snappy about it? Please. Ray, are you sure your students are ready for their graduation today? Are you ready for today's graduation?
I think we should postpone the graduation. We should hold back their
Victoria,
certificate.
Victoria, turn on your camera.
Are you ready for your graduation?
Where is Sunday?
Hey. See our graduates too.
Tosin, Olufemi, Victoria, can you guys turn on? Let's be snappy with this so that we can move on to the next thing.
Okay, remaining 3 persons. Okay, Ray, please okay, thank you. Okay, ma, please can you help us screenshot?
Okay, I'm trying because I'm on my phone now.
Can we all
Okay.
smile, please? It's a
Say
photograph.
cheese.
Let's just smile. Cheese.
Awesome. So let's move on.
Okay, thank you. As your camera is on, please just wait. On your camera again, please. Please just on your camera again. Victoria, please, where are you? Okay, thank you very much. So it's time for a little game, okay? So I want it very interactive. So this game is how much do you know yourselves? Okay? So you have been in same class every Sunday, SQL. How much do you know yourselves? So you're going to call your name and pick someone's name and say what you know about the person and we count. So for example, my name is Francisca and I want to talk about Irimide. So Irimide is the founder of Data Analytics Elite. One, she's very pretty, as you can all see. Two, she loves red. For example, oh, three, she based Lagos. Four. So that's how the game is going to be. So Snappy, let's have the first person. Victoria. Okay, you can start. Pick a classmate and say things about your classmate and we count.
Hey. Okay. I know one of our tutor, Chibuzo. Mm, he's a good mentor and he's
Two.
someone that understands a lot and he's very calm whenever he's explaining.
I don't know if this can count. Like she said just three things, right? I don't know if that can count. Where you don't know where he's based, his color, etc. What he does, who he is. Just you can see. Okay, it's fine. So
And
she has three, right? So Tosin,
he's That's all. I don't really know much about him.
okay, no problem. So next
Thanks.
person. This one everybody's left in. Everybody's leaving the group. This is wonderful. So if you don't know about yourselves in the class or what, okay, next person. Graduate to next
Next
person.
person should be Tosin.
Tosin, please. Mr. Chibuzo, please nominate the next person.
Okay, Sunday.
Okay.
Don't leave Olufemi out though. He's hiding somewhere.
Sunday, you can go next.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, my network has been quite bad. I'm just joining up. So, don't
Okay,
take
no
it.
problem. So it's a game and we want to know how much you know your classmates. Okay? So you call a classmate's
Okay.
name and tell us what you know about the person and we count based on the points of what you know.
Oh, okay. So I'll call Tosin. Tosin, I know.
Okay?
I can't hear you.
He said he's speaking to Tosin. He's talking about Tosin. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I'll talk about Tosin. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I think it's
Yes.
one of the person that we had to work together at some point. Um, we've built a lot of good relationship aside SQL, and she has been a very good friend. So, and she's very troublesome, so I can say that she will disturb me every time. Used to tell her one or two things, and whenever I'm stopped, also she's the go-to person for me. So we've been and you see our chats, you think we've been friends for over a year, like we see every day. So she has been a very wonderful person. I think there are some other people who did not graduate, they are not here, I will have mentioned. But that's to say. So is there another thing you wanted to say?
Okay, so thank you. That's it. I think you mentioned five things, and out of
Yeah.
everything, I had she's very troublesome. Good thing. Well done. Okay, so one last person, just one last person. So who is ready to go?
Mr. Olufemi.
Well,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I will pick Sunday.
Sunday. Okay.
Yes. Well, he's ready to assist at any time, and also is the second thing about him is I guess he is very busy. He's the busy type. That is the only two things that I know about him.
Ah, only these two things.
Yes, I have tried.
Hey. Okay.
Wahala.
Oh my God, I enjoyed myself in this section. So please, let's just call the winner. Who do we think won? Who won this game? Between
Sunday,
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 Olufemi,
Sunday,
and Victoria. Please, who won?
Sunday.
Ray, you wanted to say something.
I think Sunday won actually, but I'll say that you won. I think you're even more detailed than them.
Oh my God, guys, please let's get to know ourselves, okay? It's very important. You cannot tell me that you're in a cohort with someone and you never check on the person, you never call the person, you never know anything about that person. It's really not cool. So, Sunday, thank you very much. You won the game. Okay.
Thank you, man.
You said Tosin is very troublesome. Tosin, please don't be troublesome to Sunday anymore, okay? So, acknowledge the best students by our lead facilitator. So, our lead facilitator, you'll be going first, Mr. Ebenezer.
Okay. So, based on my own perspective, the best student so far is Oluwafemi Omondara and Sunday Abiodun. Based on my own perspective so far. So I call them the best students with the fact of their dedication and the willingness and the passion. Actually exhibit the passion not just to learn SQL as a whole, but to learn more about how to apply SQL, always curious to work on projects. So basically my best students so far is Olafemi Mandara and Sunday Abiodun. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow.
Thank you very much, sir.
You
Thank
know,
you so
I
much.
think it's actually Oluwafemi because it's dedication. See, the way he calls me, when I in the class, say, Ire, please, oh, I beg. I be like, oh, guys, it's not that hard now. Don't worry, you can. But no, it's like it's all out. Like it's like me and you, escort. I will kill you.
Well done. Well done, guys. So, Mr. Chibuzo, your best student so far.
Hmm. Okay. Let me call it based on position first. Number one goes to Sunday. Sunday. So why I'm giving Sunday number one is based on the way he does his things, and he tries to use other methods. So that alone impressed me. So I could remember one of the assignments which he decided to go each other way around, and that alone he really impressed me by that. Then second goes to Oluwafemi. Oluwafemi can disturb. Let me put it that way. So Oluwafemi, why I like him is eager to know more, and he will ask you why this way. Okay, can we use these two together, or can we why can't we use this instead of the other one? So he's curious to know which of them is the best, or is there a scenario where we can use both together. So it's really amazing. Then every other person, what is his name again? I think is he forgotten his name. I think he's a student. He's still in tertiary institution. So, but for now, it's just the both of them. Then I think Victoria, I can give Victoria the third because the other person is not on this call. So Victoria asked a question, and I can't remember the question she asked. So basically, those are just the three best students for me. Thank you.
Whoa. Thank you so much. Mr. Edwin, is this still on this call? Okay, it's not. So next is certificate presentation by our wonderful facilitator and mentor. Okay, so I'll share my screen and you help us present the certificates. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Mr. Ebenezer, please can you present this certificate to Victor? Hello, sir. Mr. Ebenezer? Mr. Ebenezer, can you hear me? Okay, Mr. Chibuzo, please, if you're there.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, please help me present the certificate.
Okay. Congratulations to Annie Victor Emeka. So we are presenting the certificate to you. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Okay. Okay, sir. Please can you present the certificate?
On behalf of the team, congratulations to Ikunayo Victoria Toilope for completing the section.
Congrats. Mr. Ebenezer, are you back on the call? I think network is very bad today.
Yes, yeah, I feel he's having poor network.
Okay. Okay. So I want to present this certificate to Olufemi Omodara. I want to say congratulations to you. You have worked hard and you earned your certificate, okay? So I want you to go out there and shine. Use the certificate very well. Now we can call you a pro, a master in SQL. Congrats. Okay, Mr. Chibuzo, you can present this, please.
I thought you wanted to go on calling Sunday. Congratulations to Sunday, Abiodun. Congrats. Congratulations.
Congrats. Ray, please, are you still on the call?
Yes, I'm on the call.
Okay, get ready. You present this one now. Okay,
Congratulations to Milenyi. Yeah, you guys really work hard for what you've done for the SQL Academy. So go out and shine. Congratulations, team.
congrats. Mr. Ebediza, are you back on the call? Because this is the last one. Okay, Ray, I think you should present this then.
Hey, Toasting. Congratulations, Tosia. Go out and shine. You guys have done amazing well. Like, it's a wrap for the SQL Academy, but this is the beginning for your own career elevation. So go out there and give it your best.
Congrats, guys. Congrats, congrats, congrats. Okay, so next we have the thank a mentor or facilitator section by students. Okay, so I'll call on Sunday. Yeah, best students, you can go first. Thank a mentor.
Okay, thank you so much. I really want to appreciate Mr. Chibuzo for his time. I think most of the time we get stuck in little things. Like to us, it's not actually is a lot to us. But after solving those issues for you, you just be like, oh man, this thing is not hard. I'll just do like this. So most of the time, usually come true for me. To I want to appreciate him for the few times, even though he's a very busy person. I remember one day, it was on a Saturday. I think it was on a Saturday, yeah. And he had to create time after work. When there was even a view center behind his house. But he did a lot to to respond and to clear our our concerns. So we were two then. I think the other guy couldn't make it to the last to the final class. So I really want to appreciate Mr. Shibuzo, Mr. Chibuzo. Sorry for using Yoruba accent. So thank you so much. God bless you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. So, Mr. Chibuzo, you have done well, and your students are saying thank you. Okay. So, next person to thank a facilitator or a mentor, Tosin. Tosin, I hope you're there. Okay, Oluwafemi. Oluwafemi, are you there? Hello? Can anyone hear me? Am I speaking to myself?
We can hear
Yes,
you.
yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Victoria, if you're there, please can you go on? You see your airport is shining away. SQL graduates. Please, we're waiting for one person. Thank a mentor or student section. Oluwafemi, Tosin, Victoria, if you're there, any of you, please say something.
Okay. Um, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I just want to thank time and us from the and also to and especially thank her for her assistance and everything. And also my very good colleague, Femi. Yeah, I think Femi is his name. So this particular guy has always been my run-to person whenever I have a slight confusion about whatever I'm trying to do. So he always give me a listening ear and always put me through. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you in general. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ray. She thanked you so much. So thank you very much for being a great mentor to Ria. So Tosin, you can go next.
Hey, please though, I'm confused though. You guys should hold on a bit. Victoria said I'm a great mentor. Victoria, unmute your mic. Let us talk. See, this is confession time. This is the girl that gives me IDP at work. You know yourself.
All same,
We
we are a good mentor now. All the
we dey
same.
fight. I am not a good
And it's for
mentor. We
our
dey
good, though.
fight.
All the fights now for our good.
So at least now we know that you can fight and be a great mentor. So keep fighting, okay? So you could be great mentors. Okay, Tosin, you can go next, please.
Okay, so I just wanted to say thank you for the class. I learned a lot and I'm still learning. Thank you.
What's
What would
your
I say?
second? Okay,
I
go.
wanted to thank you for the class. I learned a lot and I'm still learning a lot. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
So Tosin,
Uh-uh.
who are you thanking actually? Who are you thanking right now?
Exactly. I was about to ask her who exactly is she thanking. Okay, let me thank you, Francisca. So Francisca,
I'm
collect the
thanking
thank
the
you.
instructors and Irene for adding me to the class. Thank you, Irene, for adding me to the class. I learned a lot. And then I also learned from our class members as well who assisted me when I needed help as well. So yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, yeah, Ray, please you can say something.
Yeah, I also like to thank Francisca for anchoring this graduation session. It's been amazing from when we started. No wonder she's collecting baby girl and so tight too that we did not see to collect. But we thank God. And
Now
thank
God
you,
they do
Francisca.
Thank you. Thank you all for thanking me. Okay. So I want just one person to say their experience so far. You joined this community, right? You came as a novice. You don't know anything about SQL, and now you're living as an expert. So just one person. Just tell us your experience so far about SQL. Yeah, Ray, please can say something.
It's amazing how nobody is talking about the ACA rank uh, exam that they wrote to. I don't understand. The certificate is your own now. I have three certificates. If I'm not saying anything about it. Oh yeah, come and talk your experience. So
So people just had her right now. So please come and say your experience about the SQL Academy program you enrolled on and how far you went and your expectations. Were they met? Did you meet your expectation? And let's hear from you, please.
Okay,
Graduate.
so I'll just go for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, so in my expectations were met. I mean, I learned something that I haven't known before and also got extra. executions as even they mentioned. Hackathon, I mean, it's nice to do that, and it has been an edge over others. And also for the project, I learned how to do that as well. So, yes, thank you for allowing us to have this class, and you're patient enough to go through it. Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you
Tos-
very much.
Tosin, I didn't hear you clearly. Are you just waking up from sleep, or I should come and prepare me for you? Which one?
I'm not feeling too well, but I said that I learned a lot from the class. I mean, and I was thanking during the day for allowing us to go through the exams for the hacker round, and then learning from other team members as well, because I can remember that I reached out to the person when I needed help, and it was kind of me to help me out through that process, and whenever I needed assistance as well, even not from the class. So, and I also mentioned that Rimudi mentioned us to take our power certification, and I said that she made us take it, and it has given us an edge over other people that we don't know about it. So yes, that's really helpful for our career growth and development. So that has given us an edge over others that don't know anything about it. So thank you, guys.
Okay, Tosin, thank you very much. One more student, one more student. Your experience.
Okay. It was a wonderful experience, and I learned a lot. It's my if I stop using SQL for now, and I come back in the next few months, I'll be able to pick up from where I stopped. Even though I know I need constant practice, but the class was detailed. The experience was wow. I really, I had fun. I enjoyed the whole class. And one of the things I enjoy most in the class is whenever you are confused, you can go back to the recording on YouTube and check whatever you are missing. And if you leave SQL and you still have the data line link on YouTube, anytime, any day you can go back, and check whatever you want to. I think it's a nice innovation, and it's a perfect way to learn. So, and the hacker rank, but with our experience, with what we learned during the class, we're able to skip through. It was a nice one. So I really commend all the facilitators, the organizers, the the person anchoring the program. The first time, this is the last time. The first time she came around was the first day in class, and it is good to see her again. So we really appreciate everyone who has helped us to acquire this knowledge. I really appreciate. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. At least someone remembered me. This the second time I'm here, right? Yeah. So Oluwafemi, your experience with the Mets, please tell us.
Okay, where will I start from, Gonsel? Uh, well, the experience was good, but along the line, I was like, I was discouraged. I wanted to stop the class because of, I had challenges, but I remembered one thing, that whenever there's a challenge, you face it to the end. If you cannot do it alone, you ask for help. So when it was resolved, I had to continue, but the experience was good. I appreciated I appreciate the my facilitators. They were good. They actually listened to me, and Oga Chibuzo, Oga Beniza. Sunday was also helpful. Victoria was helpful. Tosin, Iremide, please, I'm not. I heard someone said I love disturbing. No, but the thing is that once I want to know something, I always like to go further. I want to know it, and I don't want to give up. I just want to know it, and I might be naughty in it too, but the end result is that I want a solution to it. If I don't have solution on this platform, there's possibility that I will get somebody outside there that will give me the solution. But in summary, I love the journey. It was good. Then for the Akarak, that one another level. Well, my first test, the first exam that I took, I actually I didn't make it. I didn't make it. That was one of the challenges I had. I was like, this first level, I'm going to. I failed it. I didn't make it. So when I took the second level, I was okay with it. After 30 days, I had to take the first level and I need it. And then, hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Well done, well done. At least I'm very happy that everyone had a wonderful experience on the program. It was easy, and the middle it was tough, and of course the strongest. And you were talking about akara. I beg, I don't know that one do. Where if you're going to eat sakara, please tell me so that I will join the next time. Okay, so I want to talk about the courses we have at Data Analytics Elite, okay? So you just listen, you could tell your friends, your family, your loved ones, anyone who is interested, okay? So we have our Excel classes, our Excel Academy coming up on the 10th of September, okay? Which is already started, yeah. And it's 4 weeks and the price is 12,000 naira for beginners. We have Power BI, 5th August, 8 weeks, and the price is 15,000 naira for intermediates. Okay, and of course the Tableau, 8th October, 8 weeks, 12,000 naira for intermediates. The next Excel cohort is coming up on the 22nd of October. It's 8 weeks and it is 12,000 naira. Then we have Python, which is coming up on the 5th of November. 8 weeks and it is 12,000 naira, but for advance. Not forgetting private coaching also, one-on-one training for Excel to Python. Okay, which we decided between the coach and the students, and it is 100,000 naira per month for 5 months. That is for managers and for senior managers. Okay, I can see everybody looking confused, giving me that face. Please speak up. What's the face about? I can't have this straight face just moving up and down. So what's this face about? I could go back again.
It is what it is.
Okay. So we are clear, right? All right. So once it is Ray to give us the vote of thanks. Ray, are you still on the call?
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I would like to say a very big thank you. Thank you to the facilitator, Ebenezer, Chibuzo, Edwin. Thank you to all the students. Thank you to our wonderful project coordinator, Francisca, and to all us that also, joined our graduation and celebrated this big day with us. I'd like to say a very big thank you to you all. Have been amazing. It's been an amazing graduation ceremony, and we thank God that we've actually come to the end of the SQL Academy officially. Officially. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, ma. Okay, you have a question, Sunday. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, please kindly check the chat box, please.
Okay. So please, what's your name?
My name is Sunday Temetayo Abiodun.
Tell me what?
Temetayo Abiodun.
Okay, okay. So that was why you gave us the sad face, right? Don't worry, we'll correct that. Is this on your
Okay.
certificate also? Sunday, can you hear me?
I don't
Yes, I can.
understand. Your name is Sunday Temitayo Abiodun.
Yes,
And what do we have in the certificate?
Sunday Abiodun.
Oh, so we need to add the Temitayo to it.
Yes,
But you wrote
Okay,
on
that's
the chat
simple.
that Temitayo is not my name.
it's not. Oh
Okay, it's
no.
not in my name. Okay, no problem. Don't
Yes.
worry, we'll add that.
Yes.
Don't worry, be happy,
Okay.
okay? Your graduation, be happy.
Thank,
We're adding Temitayo.
thank
If you
you.
want it 2 times, we're adding it 2 times. Okay. So Sunday, can you give us closing prayer for today?
Please, sorry,
Okay.
before the closing prayer, I think Victoria dropped something on the chat menu.
Okay.
Kindly ignore.
Victoria, many for what, please?
You can go to any nearby eatery. Tell them you are a graduate of the SQL Academy from Data Analytics Elite. You can order whatever you need to order. The bill will be sent across to us.
Oh my God.
But make
Okay.
sure you are ready to wash plates.
Oh my God. You want I can serve them. All right, no problem. Work towards that. After all, you're a graduate, so who are we to stop you? Ray, right?
Exactly. We can't stop them.
Okay, Mr. Sunday, your hand is up again.
It was the previous one. Sorry.
Okay, so we are done. The closing prayer by Mr. Sunday.
Okay. God, we thank you for another privilege to be alive. It's a rare privilege. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your mercy. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for your faithfulness. Thank you for always keeping us. Thank you for making us to start this program and still gather here once again. May your name be exalted in Jesus' name. Lord, we pray for everyone who
Amen.
has invested their time, their resources to start something like this. Lord, we pray that we continue to make the brand a global one in Jesus' name. Lord, we also pray that as we have learned one or two things, as we have taken our time to come here to learn, Lord, we pray that it will not just be a waste of time. It is going to be a time well spent in the name of Jesus. Through this program, some of us and most of us will get a very good job in Jesus' name. And the power and the strength to keep building ourselves in this program, in this data analytical program, God will give it unto us in the name of Jesus. We will never be tired, and will never be weary in the mighty name of Jesus. May Lord keep every one of us till we meet again in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. So thank you
Amen.
very much.
Amen.
Amen and amen. So thank
Ah,
you very
who has
much,
that
guys.
voice? Who has that voice?
I think it's Oluwafemi.
No, it's not me. Oh, it's Afolabi.
All right,
So
guys.
thank you very much. So once again, my name is Francisca Chinonyeza Bikwa, and I am very happy to have hosted this wonderful graduation. So my little advice for you, if I say my bye-bye, is as you have learned SQL, don't stop here, okay? Keep learning. And you could also register for the next academy, you could register for Power BI, Python. Please don't just stop here because the road is very, very long and you need to complete your whole to be a great data analyst. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining this graduation. We're very happy and see you guys at the top. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Wow.
Mm.